The 2018 Florida gubernatorial race. 4 Democrats are in the race to replace Governor Rick Scott. Former Congresswoman Gwen Graham, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, and former Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine are all mainstream Democratic politicians with name recognition and political track records. Then there is Chris King, a 39-year-old Winter Park businessman with no political experience. I recently spoke to Chris King about his long-shot bid for governor and the campaign issues he thinks could win him the nomination. Chris King, you're in a crowded field. Tell us about yourself, why you're running, and what sets you apart from the other Democrats in this race.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I'm from Central Florida, the only candidate in the primary from the I-4 corridor. Married to my high school sweetheart, have 3 small children, would be one of our younger candidates in a generation to run for this office. And I say that the thing, Elliot, that most sets me apart is I'm both a progressive. I'm somebody who is really excited the Democratic community, lifelong Democrat, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I've built a successful business from scratch here in Florida and around the country that I'm very proud of the work that it does in affordable housing, and I think that gives me some skills in this race to go the distance.
Well, let me ask you about affordable housing, because that is a major problem in South Florida. It's become a problem throughout the state of Florida. How would you, as governor, address that issue?
Well, we have an affordable housing crisis all across the state of Florida. From the first moment I launched my campaign, I said this was one of the central elements. And I say that my goal, my aspiration, is to be the nation's finest housing governor. It's acute here in Miami-Dade. One of the biggest things I would do from day one, from winning the election, would be to stop the sweeps on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in Tallahassee. Tallahassee, and most folks don't fully appreciate this, but they've raided nearly $2 billion from the very investment fund that is designed to help people afford housing. Teachers, law enforcement, seniors. To me, that's wrong. It's been an attack on families across the state, and I'm going to stop it.
Now, you've invested in affordable housing. Have you made any investments in affordable housing here in South Florida?
No, I haven't. So our work generally begins around the I-4 corridor. We do a lot of work in senior housing, in big senior communities, high rises. We revitalize communities that are broken or failing, work with the federal government to do that, and then we go up through the Carolinas, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana. But at this point, you know, the issues in South Florida are so serious, and we need more solutions here.
Governor Scott has taken credit for creating 1.4 million jobs, private sector jobs in the state of Florida. Does he deserve credit for that?
Well, you know, one of my major motivations for running when I made this decision is I said I want to be the economy Democrat. I want to be the Democrat that creates a more fair and homegrown economy. And what Governor Scott does not tell us is the fact that our state is now a back-of-the-pack state in nearly every economic measurement. So what Governor Scott doesn't tell us is that of the 10 most populated states, we are now last in wages, in incomes, or per capita GDP. He focuses on the word jobs. I focus on the word wages. When 1 out of every 2 jobs in the state of Florida pays less than $15 an hour, I believe something's wrong.
You're in favor of raising the minimum wage?
I am. I am in favor of raising the minimum wage, but I argue that Democrats too often get involved in minimum wage politics, and we don't look at this holistically. So I've been in South Florida now for 9 days. This is my last day. I go home to my family in Central Florida today, and I've been calling it my affordable living tour, where I believe the candidates of the future and the next governor has to be talking about access to housing and health care, the jobs that support families, all together.
Now, let me ask you about fundraising, because that's important. In the last 3 months of last year, both Philip Levine, the mayor of Miami Beach, and Gwen Graham, the congresswoman from Florida, former congresswoman, and the daughter of former Governor Bob Graham and Senator Bob Graham, were able to raise more money than you. Has fundraising become a problem for you? And can you raise more money to stay viable in this race?
Yes. Well, there is no magic magic that would suggest that the candidate that raises the most amount of money is going to be the successful or the victor in a race. If not, Donald Trump wouldn't be president of the United States. I have raised nearly $3 million in the off-year election, and we are positioned. We're growing our team, our staff. I'm down in Miami. We've been having events here. I'll have events in Orlando next week and Washington, D.C. the week after. And we feel as if we will have the resources not only to go the distance, but to get a new, fresh, exciting message out to the people of Florida who want something different.
You've already put in more than $1 million of your own money. Would you be willing to put more?
Well, you know, that's something that I haven't made a final decision on. But I am, you know, that was my commitment to this race. I am in this to win it. I believe we need fresh ideas. We need new candidates. And I think we have something to offer that Floridians and particularly Democrats haven't seen in decades. And I'm very excited to show them a new vision.
Chris King, thank you for joining us. Hope you can join us more often.
I look forward to it.
Thank you very much. In a recent poll from the Florida Chamber Political Institute, King trails the other candidates with 1% support of Democratic voters. He'll have until the August 2018 primary to convince the 64% who haven't yet made up their mind.
And we are inviting all of the candidates to join us here on CBS 4 News.